As they begin to move through our area and throughout the state. We're on your side with how long these storms are going to stick around and when our next chance of rain will be.
And we talk about how active this severe weather season has been so far and how many tornadoes the country has seen.
Plus, we take a deeper dive on how the wildfires in both Canada and Mexico could potentially impact air quality in our area.
WPRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Tania, it seems like every day we're seeing another video of a tornado.
Every day.
And not far from Alabama.
No,
Yeah.
It's been crazy. From last week to this week, I just don't know what's going on.
We've got severe storms all around us. For us, though, right now there is a severe thunderstorm watch over northwest Alabama.
Yes.
Let's go to the next big thing right now. And to update you here, we are tracking storms to the north and west right now around Lawrence, Limestone, Madison counties, over towards Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin counties. They're under severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock tonight. However, for us tonight, and as Matt mentioned earlier today, we still could see an isolated severe storm. So we just need to be alert for that possibility. I know if you have some plans right now, the weather's fine for most of us, but these storms you can see developing, they're moving to the east direction. So we still could have a passing storm tonight and some intense lightning and certainly some heavy rainfall. Certainly that lightning threat we got to watch out for. Just always keep in mind storms don't have to be severe to have dangerous lightning. And you can see right now this storm over Haleyville, and quite a few flashes there, over 35 strikes over the past 30 minutes. This is now actually just north and east of Haleyville, but places like Forkville, Double Springs is to the south. There's Rabbit Town, an area being impacted here. Northern Winston County, though, stay alert here for this storm as it moves to the north and east-northeast at 24 miles per hour. You can see the movement on that, but also look at this chance that we do have some hail with this storm possibility right there. Looks like a nice little core with this thing, so you might be around Pebble actually getting some small hailstones falling as that heavier rain there tracks to the north and east. But over the next 60 minutes, that storm, if we kind of follow it here, you see that's going to be moving, looks like it's going to stay north of Coleman. It's going to be moving more towards the Hartselle area there, so staying just to our north, but we'll keep an eye on it. That's where most of the active weather's happening right now. Also in Marion County, look at how these storms are just kind of tracking over these same areas, so we could have some flood concerns here soon with all these heavier downpours tracking from Bexar back in towards Hackleburg. This area really heating up today. We did see showers. I had someone said, I didn't see hardly a drop of rain today. Well, for some of us, we had that light mist, light drizzle for a good part of the day. But some of us, we've had more sunshine, a little bit hotter. So that's certainly helping to kick off some of these storms there to the north. But notice as we go into 9 o'clock tonight, still showing those areas to the north. Possibility there around Jasper and into Coleman. This is the new data, by the way. We just got an update on this, and you can see there as that stays to the north there, chance at least through 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock tonight, we still could have some storms on the map. So this is going to continue through this evening. This won't just end over the next hour. Plan for that possibility of some scattered thunderstorms here as we look ahead through at least 11 o'clock for tonight. Did have some heavy rain earlier in Tuscumbia. Right now, catching a break. This is one of our First Alert Sky Vision cameras there in Colbert County where we had some of those storms to the north. But I want to show you, notice the temperature down to 64 degrees. So we saw a big drop off in those temperatures there after those storms moved through. You can see in Hamilton there, the storms moving in from the west direction and also tracking some of that rain there. I mentioned over northern Winston County. Live look from Bluff Park at this time, and this is what we're seeing again in most areas. But Tania, we just need to keep a watch on that weather app in case we do have any nearby storms.
Absolutely, Wes. I'm right there with you. Heavy rain across the southern portion of our state, bringing damage and flooding. We first brought you this story yesterday as heavy rain impacted the southern portion of the state. According to our sister station, WALA, the area also experienced strong winds. Check out some of the footage from around the area. Flooding in the Mobile area has also been a problem for years as the city continues to work to upgrade old drainage pipes, leaving Mobile Fire and Rescue urging drivers not to risk driving through those flooded areas.
You don't know how deep it is because it's not clear water. It's not like you're looking into a swimming pool. So don't find out by driving your car into it because it could turn into a more dangerous situation than what we saw here.
Damage was also reported across the area, with the National Weather Service in Mobile stating that a new record has been set at the Mobile Regional Airport for 6.8 inches of rain, beating the previous record of 3 inches. And in Louisiana, significant damage is being reported in Sulphur after those severe storms moved through yesterday evening. Here's a video of that. People in the area reporting damage to homes and businesses as the storm knocked down trees and power lines. Thankfully, there are no injuries being reported, but the National Weather Service confirmed that the tornado that moved through the Lake Charles area yesterday evening was an EF1, with the Sulphur tornado being an EF3. Golfers in Branson, Missouri capture the moment a tornado touches down during their round. Video shows a tornado swept through Paynes Valley Golf Course, which was designed by Tiger Woods and opened in 2020. No injuries or damages were reported at the golf course, thankfully. These new reports come as the 2024 tornado season has the second most reported tornadoes on record. That's according to the Storm Prediction Center, who says there were at least 781 tornado reports through May 13th. That stands behind only 2011, which had more than 1,300 by this date. Records go back to 1950, and according to the center, the average number of tornado reports through May 13th is 620.
Wow, just unbelievable, Tania. All those tornado reports from this season, and severe weather, as I mentioned, all around us. But as we continue to talk about the impacts of wildfires on air quality, meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson join us now to talk about the effects of fires that are happening now in Canada and also in South America, how that could potentially impact our air quality.
So Mickey just found out from NOAA that April was the warmest April on record for the Earth, and we're noticing more wildfire smoke developing in Canada. And if you remember last year, we had crazy amounts of wildfires and wildfire smokes breaking records across the country.
Yeah, it was one of the smokiest ever, and that makes for very poor air quality. You know, Birmingham kind of sits in a little bowl there, and it just kind of traps in some of the smoke, and it can make for, you always get the Jefferson and Shelby County poor air quality.
That's right.
That's due to one of those reasons.
Yeah, so let's talk about wildfire smoke. One reason why we're talking about it is because we're already starting to see lots of drought in Canada. It's almost very reminiscent of last year, unfortunately. And you see all those red dots there? That's indicating fire. You start seeing those darker grays, that becomes moderate to thick smoke. And you can see as we zoom towards the United States, Midwest and the Northern Plains, a good bit of that smoke showing up from yesterday into today.
So if you get those winds out of the north, it presents a problem for the United States. But guess what? Mexico is now dealing with some wildfires as well, so we could get southerly winds and northerly winds, and that could present an issue.
Yeah, it can, and we're already seeing a little bit of that smoke parts of southern Texas as well, and that's coming from Mexico. So when you're sandwiched between all this, and then you have to worry about, you know, the upcoming season, if there's more drought, there could be fires also in the United States. So air quality will be a concern, something we'll have to watch going into the next several months. But here's a look at the air quality from today, and you can see a little bit of reduced air quality in parts of Houston and southern portions of Louisiana, and most likely from those wildfires coming in from Mexico. And we're seeing a little bit of reduced quality as well as you go up towards the Midwest. But just to give you an idea of wildfire smoke days, and this is from Climate Central, just estimate from 2006 to 2020. They have a lot of wildfire smoke days, especially across California, which we see wildfires there all the time from drought, and also across the Central Plains. But across Alabama, you see those red shaded areas showing about 40 to 60 on average for those wildfire smoke days.
And some of this can be nature induced. You know, lightning can cause some fires that develop. Of course, humans can do that too. Old Smokey the Bear used to say, "Only you can prevent forest fires."
Yeah, and those dry thunderstorms, you definitely see that, especially in parts of like Arizona, New Mexico, southern portions of California. So dry there.
Some of it can't be helped. You got the dry air, and nature can cause some of that. But 2023 goes down as one of the record wildfire smoke pollution years on record.
Yeah, for the U.S. And if you look at 2021, 22, 2020 was well above average. The average is much farther down there on that graphic. So really starts to peak and ramp up as we go into those summer months. So just giving you that heads up, we're starting to see it, something we'll be monitoring. And I know last week we were talking about air quality. And of course, if we have any issues here, we will let you know.
All right, Matt and Mickey, and we're tracking storms right now across our area. I'll show you where we have heavy rain and where we expect rain within the next 60 minutes. More in just a few seconds. Stay with us. Right now tracking a strong thunderstorm over northern Winston County. This is just north of Double Springs, but the way this is moving, this is going to move towards Ellaville at 7:05 there. So if you're traveling north of Winston County in that vicinity right there, some small hail possible, but some intense lightning showing 38 strikes over the past 30 minutes, but some heavy rain now lining up over parts of Marion County, but this is still mainly impacting areas to the north. Hackleburg tracking storms if you're in Lamar County. It looks like this line's starting to fill in a bit in areas to the south. That's going to be ramping in towards Vernon and Sulligent, Guin and Fayette with time later on this evening. Some of those storms moving in, but again, I still think Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, over into East Alabama, we still have a chance that we could have a passing shower or storm for this evening. It's a marginal severe threat, but something we're certainly actively monitoring. We'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few moments. Tania?
And did you know that oysters play a vital role in our coastal ecosystems? Well, in this week's Degrees of Science, meteorologist Brady Taylor introduces you to a very interesting program at Texas A&M Corpus Christi that helps to rebuild oyster reefs by recycling shucked oyster shells from area restaurants.
To put it very simply, we recycle oyster shells from local restaurants and we put them back out into our local bays. So those oyster shells going into the bays help to restore habitat, to restore reefs that otherwise wouldn't be able to come back to those areas.
So if y'all doing this for 15 years, how many oysters have y'all restored and put back in the Gulf, or habitat have y'all helped out?
Good question. It's a lot of oysters. So we've recycled nearly 3 million pounds of oyster shells, and we've restored about 40 acres of reefs back out in the bay. So that's a pretty neat thing to get to watch and to see. It's quite it's a large volume and it's a big impact.
Why is it so important to be able to rebuild these reefs for these oysters?
So for a lot of reasons. So oyster reefs do a lot of things for us and for our communities. So the oysters themselves are filtering water. They say a single adult oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water a day. So if you think about when you scale up to a reef, that's millions of oysters. Think about how many more gallons that is that they're out there cleaning. So when we remove oyster shells from a habitat, we also remove the place where future oysters would grow. So oysters aren't like a clam where they can grow on a mud bottom. They need a place to settle. So putting the shell back out gives a place for those baby oysters that are out in the water column to go and settle. So this is one piece of material that was put out into the bay. And then you can kind of see on here, I used to have a count on this of how many smaller oysters have grown on it, but as you can see, there's a ton. And in every little nook and cranny here, there's gonna be something living. We've got barnacles, we've got marine worms, we've got the oysters themselves. Then, if this were living in the bay, it would have fish and shrimp and crabs. So yeah, it's pretty impactful, I would say.
That is very interesting. Well, we're not going anywhere. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes for a full look at that 7-day forecast and then take you beyond the 7-day. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra.
Well, right now on Weather Extra, we have some storms lining up in northwest areas. What you see here is non-severe storms, mostly a lot of rain, some intense lightning that's happening. There is a severe thunderstorm watch through 8 o'clock that's just north of our area. Looks like actually I think we might be seeing some updates to that watch happening across North Alabama. But notice in here north of Ash Ridge, this one storm here, it looks like it might have a small hail core with it. So we might have some pea-sized hail at least falling with this right now around Highway 195 in areas to the north. So County Road 2, areas to the north right there, some lightning, some intense lightning that's happening. We go further south, there was a little shower that was near Gardendale. Looks like that has dissipated there. I was noticing north of Livingston down into West Alabama, we're seeing a little small shower. Things pretty quiet here around Tuscaloosa, again around the Birmingham area. No rain at the moment, so if you're about to head out this evening, you can see we're still in the clear right now. Same for us here around Anniston and also for Gadsden at this time as we just kind of check out what's happening across the state. But looks like some counties actually have been taken out of that watch to the north there. That's because it has cooled off. We checked in on that Sky Vision site there at Tuscumbia earlier, showed 64 degrees, so a big drop in those temperatures. Right now, though, there are some severe thunderstorm warnings still happening over North Alabama. But notice how these storms are starting to fill in. So this is what we got to watch for, this tail end of this line. It's going to be moving east across the area tonight. There will be some intense lightning with this as this tracks to the east direction. But as we go to the rain chance breakdown for the rest of this evening, let's just show you the forecast data. You can see 8 to 9 o'clock still showing that line making its way to the east here. Again, some of these storms, even though we're not under a severe thunderstorm watch, some of those could be strong through tonight. But otherwise, we get into tomorrow. We start out in the low 60s. Most of the day looks dry for most areas, with the exception far northeast. We still have the back edge of this departing trough, and that could kick off some showers there to the north, but it's an isolated chance that we're seeing for those areas to the northeast. Afterwards, we're looking at our next best chance of rain coming back on Friday. You can see Thursday looks dry, but watch Friday during the day. Showers moving in. We'll see this active west to southwest flow again kick in. We'll see rounds of rain, especially for Friday night into the morning hours there on Saturday. You can see a good chance for rain and storms. 6 a.m. on Saturday. Looks like a chance for some wet weather. So Saturday's the day this weekend. I'd certainly plan for the higher rain chance. I do think Sunday will trend drier. There's a chance, though, Saturday night, overnight, there could be one more round of rain showers and storms. Need to watch out for that. I noticed some of the new data coming in was showing that possibility. So looks like this weekend, some wet weather impacts, especially there on Saturday, Monday and Tuesday, trending drier. Looks like those temperatures stay in the upper 80s. But as we go beyond the 7-day forecast, Tania, I was checking 37 days away from the official start of summer.
I know. I'm excited, but also not excited. Listen,
you ready for the heat index 100 plus?
I'm ready for the pools to be open, but as far as the excessive heat warnings and the heat index,
we can hold off on all that.
Yeah, we can hold off on all that. Listen, but as we look beyond the 7-day, I hate to tell you guys, but it looks like majority of the U.S. could be seeing those above average temperatures, so we're probably going to be feeling a lot hotter pretty quickly. This is May 20th through the 24th. The Pacific Northwest going to be experiencing those below average temperatures, but for us across the southeast and really all the way up the east coast, above average temperatures. So we're going to be cranking up the heat here as we approach the end of the month. Once again, that's May 20th through May 24th. Our 6 to 10 day rainfall outlook, May 20th through May 24th. We're going to see a mix across the U.S. Along the west coast, more near average rainfall. Some of the central states above average, down towards New Mexico and parts of Texas. The southern parts of Texas going to be seeing below average rainfall. But for us here at home, a good mix for us. We're going to see anywhere from above average across central Alabama to more near average for the southern portions of the state, and then along the coast looking more at near average rainfall. So what does that mean for us as far as those temperatures? We've been talking about it feeling hotter pretty quickly with those above average temps. As we look at our 6 to 15 day temperature outlook, May 20th through May 29th, you'll notice that our average is just around the low 80s, and we're going to be above that just about every single day as we approach the end of May. So closer to Thursday, I believe this is next Thursday, 95 degrees is what some of our models are saying. 6 to 10 days out from now, we could be seeing more 90s as we approach next weekend. So just the first alert for some heat cranking up, and that means the AC needs to crank up too. But a streak of bad severe weather has really stretched even longer, 14 days in a row, with at least one tornado reported in the U.S. starting April 25th and going through last Friday. And Hurricane hurricane season begins next month. Emily Schmidt joins us with what you can do to prepare for damages in case you're in the path of the next storm.
This spring has brought some wild weather. The Storm Prediction Center confirmed at least 200 tornadoes over more than 2 straight weeks. Split-second damage requiring long-term recovery.
It's going to be just a lot of work to get this back in shape again.
The weather is changing. So even if you've never experienced a disaster before, you need to do some research on your area and see how likely you are to experience a disaster in the next few years.
Shannon Martin of Bankrate says these storms are a reminder to prepare for potential disaster by battening down your financial hatches, especially ahead of hurricane season, which begins June 1st.
For your insurance, you should speak with your agent and make sure to inquire about any coverage gaps. Depending on where you live, things like wind and wildfire might be excluded. Flood and earthquakes are generally always excluded from your policy. So if you don't have separate standalone policies, you might really leave yourself open for a big financial loss.
Martin says you can get your physical house in order as well. Get your roof inspected, test garage doors, seal gaps. Think about how to cover windows before the storm hits. The kind of disaster may change across the country. Great Plains tornadoes, California wildfires, Texas flooding. But a spokesperson for nonprofit industry association, the Insurance Information Institute, says last year homeowners insurance costs jumped around an average of 10 to 12% nationwide. And in some states, insurers are pulling out of more disaster-prone markets, leaving homeowners with fewer options, often at even higher costs. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
Well, some real heavy rain for parts of the area, Tania, right now, those areas to the northwest.
Yeah, Lamar, Marion County, over towards Winston County, some frequent lightning strikes over in Winston and also over towards Lamar County and Marion near the city of Detroit there. Heavy rain, be careful as you're out and about on those roads.
Yeah, we'll continue to track this for you. Make sure you have our First Alert weather app. If we see any alerts, we'll certainly let you know. See you back here at 9.